Hi friends, it is a beautiful day in Western Washington, Zone 8, and it is the end of April. I have a lot of work to do, both in and out of the polytunnel, out in the yard, and the garden spaces around the property. So come on with me, let's see what we gotta do. A pitcher like this comes in handy, and inside of here I've been collecting coffee grounds from the K-Cups. As I save the K-Cups for other projects, I also save the grounds. And when you have this side here, you can kind of shake it as you go around and add some to your soil. It's wonderful. I'm going to add some in here and here. And if it falls on the ground, I don't care. It's okay. I just add some all around. And you're using used coffee grounds, not new coffee grounds. My dad was an organic farmer. He misunderstood, like many years ago, probably before I was born. He bought real coffee and was trying to do vermicomposting and killed his worms. So you want to make sure that you are using used coffee grounds. Okay? And by doing it this way, you can use it kind of sparingly. Or if you want to add a little bit more, you can change it to that way. If you go try to dump it just a little bit at a time without the lid on, you can dump the whole container and that just makes a mess. So this is very helpful. See? Coming out pretty good. Helps when you have two hands. I'm also right-handed, so it helps to do this. It really is helpful. And the fava beans are sprouting nice, like I showed you the other day. And I'm going to chase this down afterwards with by watering them. I've got some weeding to do in here. You can get coffee grounds from places like Starbucks, and they often have like a container that will say free coffee grounds. They have them all packed up for you. Or you can tell your local coffee shop when you go there to get your coffee in the morning. If you do that, you can just make one stop just to be nice. Like, okay, I'll buy a Americano, and just say, hey, can you collect the coffee grounds today, and I'll come back later and pick them up. And they'll usually say yes, so you'll get a good amount of coffee grounds that way. And then I like to just buy one thing from them just to kind of pay it back. Don't you leave your plastic containers like this out in the greenhouses or outside, because they will start to crack and fall apart. I keep them inside. Dollar Trees are usually one of the most effective places to get things for cheap. This is actually from Dollar General. It actually was an actual dollar. And if you want to keep the humidity up on some of your plants, give them a little bit of a foliar spray. These are working really well. Now, I don't do this to tomatoes. I don't want to encourage any kind of fungus on them because they're prone to disease. If you get a little grounds on your leaves, you can just spritz them off. No big deal. Look at all these dandelions. My chickens will be so happy. And I'm going to leave plenty throughout the yard for the bees and other pollinators, but these are going to be a nice snack for my birds. This is what I'm actually weeding out. This is going to be out, and I'm going to let it just fry up in the sun, and then I can compost it, but I want to make sure that it's all dead. These beauties, the chickens just love them. I'm walking around the property picking dandelion heads so that I'm not battling them all the time, but I enjoy the dandelions. I'm just making sure that they don't reproduce too much. Look at some of my tulips I planted here several years ago, planting underneath a pear tree. So pretty. And look at the blossoms on my pear trees. Also underneath the pear tree I have some oregano growing. This is self-seeded. I'm grabbing them some greens too. They love these. Let's go give this treat to the hens. I'm going to also pick them some sage. Helps to prevent parasites. I'm going to propagate some of the sage by cuttings in the near future. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can see those videos. So this is like medicine for the birds. Prevent them from getting parasites. Okay, that's good for now. So I've got them a nice little salad. They also like oregano. So this is growing in the sidewalk. I'm choosing the bits that are nice and tender and not woody. I'm also picking some of this. It's either henbit or dead nettle, and I can never tell which, but they like both of them. Nice. The girls are ready. They say, "Give me a treat." They love their greens. Wish kids would be this excited over greens. These girls are acting super hungry, but they're about the fattest chickens you've ever seen in your life. They're almost as big as a turkey, I swear. They give the brightest orange yolks you've probably ever seen, probably because we give them dandelions and kale and all kinds of good fresh greens from the garden. And this is one of our cherry trees. It was in the home when we moved in, but it was just a very small cherry tree, and now it produces so many cherries every year. So lovely. Look at those blossoms, aren't they pretty? Here's some more of what could either be dead nettle or henbit, and I've got both growing on the property, and I always get confused which one's which. They both have that square stem and the purple flowers. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. And if you look inside the flowers, it looks kind of like an orchid to me. So pretty. Some people call these weeds. I love them. This weed here is really sticky, and when you pull it, it comes out very easy. Sometimes with the roots attached, sometimes not. It's very, very sticky. It clings to animals. They have sticky seeds. They're called cleavers. And I don't know a lot about them, but I do know that there are medicinal uses. So you should look that up before you get rid of all of it. Maybe let it grow in one little designated area of your yard. Like maybe I could let it grow here. There's a lot of it though. You don't want it taking over, but because there's medicinal usage, you never know what the future holds. Maybe let a little bit grow in a specific place where your animals don't jump around, because it will tangle in their fur, and their seeds will tangle in their fur too. You could put this into a 5-gallon bucket with water and make your own compost tea, so all the nutrients in the cleavers don't get wasted. Did you know that if you give your chickens grass, it should be short? If you give them long grass, it can get tangled. and they're gizzard or something like that. So I'm not an expert, but I read about it. So maybe cut up the grass before you give it to your chickens, or let them eat the grass when it's still nice and short. Strawberries are growing in my yard, so I'm going to need to carefully dig those up, don't lose the roots, and move them to a safer place, otherwise they're going to get mowed over. Don't forget to stay hydrated. It's easy to lose track of time and you don't want to faint. I have these paper containers that I don't use anymore, and I have some little Dixie cups. I'm going to use these to make planting trays. It looks like this paper tray can hold about 30 or 31 of these little Dixie cups, and I'm going to do them one at a time so that they don't fall over, or I'm just going to scoop the soil in. I'm not going to really worry about if anything spills. I really don't care, and it doesn't need to be perfect. So I've got soil up here in the cubby, and the cup's ready to go. Super simple. I'm going to scoop and drop, and I don't care. I don't care at all if I spill. I don't want to rock. I'll take that out. But I'm not going to waste time trying to make it look pretty, because it's just going to be a mess anyway. I'm outside, who cares? Not overthinking it. Ideally, you don't want to let your soil dry out like I have out here. But usually seed starter mix doesn't have worms and things like that in it anyway. But your regular soil should, once they're mature and you plant them outside. So I'm going to continue filling this up. I'm going to be planting Fort Hook lima beans from Haas Tools. With all the noise in the background, you have to believe I live in an urban area. Fort Hook lima beans. And one of the reasons I don't really care about the size of the seed starting is because these are very large seeds. Look how big these seeds are. I love that. Lima beans are so delicious. I'm putting 1 lima bean per cup, and I will cover them more with more soil. So I'm not making an indentation, I'm just going to put 1 per cup. And we have 30 beans, or 31. And I'm just going to very non-methodically cover them. I'm going to water these in, but the nozzle on this thing is like so broken, so I'm just going to do it off camera, but I'm going to water these guys. Okay, these babies have been watered in really nicely. I'm going to put 1 label on there. These are all the same kind, so I'm only going to use 1 label. I'm putting the beans right here in the polytunnel. These need to be reinforced. These old zip ties will probably snap under the weight, so I'll do that another day, but those are good to go. I have them up off the ground so the slugs don't get to them too crazy. And I'm letting the polytunnel air out because it is really hot. Isn't it crazy how sometimes the healthiest thing that you're not trying to grow is a weed? Find weed. Goodbye. I will zip this up later, but I'm going to let it cool down because it is super hot in here. Whoa, it's like a sauna. Look at the crazy hair. I've been running around the yard weeding and planting and making a grimy mess. I didn't get everything on camera, but man, that was a really good workout. Who needs a gym when you garden? All right, everybody, God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.